Welcome to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast, where you can learn and be inspired by real-world examples of how technology is transforming businesses and reshaping industries in a language everyone can understand. Here is your host, Neil C. Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast. Now, with the announcement of the UK publishing its first AI strategy, which includes a 10-year plan to make the UK an AI superpower. Many are saying it will be to a business's detriment to not capitalise on the power of AI and automation. However, with this rapid shift towards automation, one of the primary areas of value is far too often being overlooked, and that is enabling humans to focus on what really matters, those value-add activities, and to strategically control that acceleration. So, Romain Picard, Vice President EMEA of the recently acquired multi-billion-dollar enterprise data cloud company Cloudera, might believe in a world dominated by robots, chatbots, drones, and other machine learning and artificial intelligence-powered technologies. But, more than anything, the power of the human touch. And as regular listeners will know by now, this is the exact message that I keep preaching on here. So buckle up and hold on tight so I can beam your ears all the way to Paris, where Romain is waiting to share his story and much more. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Sure, and thanks for having me today. So I'm Romain Picard, so I'm the VP of EMEA of Cloudera. So I've been with the company 8 years, and we help our customers to become more and more data-centric.
If I was to take you back even before 2004, can you remember where your passion for technology came from and what got you interested? What put you on this path you're on today? Or as they would say in those Marvel movies, what's your origin story?
Sure. So I'm from Burgundy, and my parents, decided in 1984 when I was 4 to move to the south of France, close to Monaco, probably more famous, on the Côte d'Azur. And then I study, business in a business school, EDEC business school, actually. Then I moved to Germany to continue to study, and do my MBA there. Then I finally landed in one of my first jobs, which was working for Opel, the car manufacturer, and it started with supply chain and automation. So, and then I decided to move back to Paris and work in the software industry. So, apart from that experience, so I think as a Gen Y person, I have had the chance, the luxury, probably not anymore, but to I've been born with a phone with me and in the digital era. So that's probably where I discovered, my curiosity for tech.
And that path obviously led you to Cloudera. So for people hearing about it for the very first time, could you just set the scene and tell everyone listening a little bit about the kind of problems that you solve with your technology there? Sure.
Cloudera deliver an enterprise data cloud. So if you think about company nowadays, they need a new approach to become data-driven. To deliver IoT-enabled predictive maintenance, genomic research, real-time compliance monitoring. They require an enterprise data cloud that is fully secured and governed and delivers multifunctions data analytics. So this is what Cloudera does.
If we look at the recent announcement of the UK publishing its first AI strategy, which is a 10-year plan to make UK an AI superpower. It sounds incredibly cool, almost a little bit sinister too, but it will be to businesses' detriment to not capitalise on the power of AI and automation. However, with this rapid shift towards automation, one of the primary areas of value is often overlooked, which is enabling humans to focus on what really matters, and that is to strategically control the acceleration. But what is your take on this?
Well, so my take is this is the right decision, coming from the UK government. So, since humans are on Earth, so we have been living into, many different disruption. I would call it, wave of innovation, wave of disruption. So, like, the industrial revolution, the agricultural revolution before, and we are just, going into the another wave, which I would call automation of decision. I think it goes beyond automation. It's automation of decision. Automation exists since a while, right? So, but automation of decision is what we try to achieve right now in the industry. And I would call it, AI. This is more famous as AI, but this is really, trying to automate the decision that humans are taking.
One of the things I always also wanted to navigate around here is why acceleration shouldn't run rampant without control. Because I imagine there'll be a few people thinking about that. So is that something you can expand on too?
I'd love to. I'd love to try at least. I think we need to look at also our relationship with time, right? So, and this is important to mention that, and I'll come back on, and of course, why we need to sometimes slow down to accelerate. We all get those days when we feel like we are, the rock stars of our life because we managed to get everything done with so much energy, passion, and enthusiasm. And there are also days where it feels like, it's the longest day in our life because we are all over the places and nothing is really getting done, right? So, and at the end of the day, we all have 8 hours a day. And when we automate, we tend to think that we accelerate, but actually, it is to spend more time on valuable things that matters, right? So I give you an example. My wife is a radiologist, and I told her, I joke. I told her, you're going to lose your job in a couple of years because we are automating everything, and we are automating also the analysis of the images of X-ray, etc. So I was, of course, laughing because what's happening right now is that we are automating with software the detection of some disease, of some broken bones, for example. That's a lots of value for the radiologists because they're going to save time in order to spend more valuable time on other things, and that's value for the patient, right? So I think all of that is amazing when it comes to the value that we're going to bring and probably going to solve the impossible, and we're going to make the impossible possible tomorrow. But we need control because we need to understand, this relationship with time, right? So it can't go too fast. It has to be under control.
It's just got me thinking, if I look back at my IT career, whenever, the business wanted to implement new technologies that possibly could replace jobs, that's very often what they did. They used that tech to reduce headcount. And I think very often we focus too much on the technology, whereas now I'm starting to see more and more that businesses are starting to wake up to the fact that if they have the technology and get people doing more value-add activities, they can make the boat go faster and actually create so much more and open up so many more opportunities. So on that front, can you expand on how it's essential that alongside automation, we form bold strategies that keep our focus on what is important, which is, of course, human ingenuity, because artificial intelligence is not creative and it can't work on its own. It's the combination of the two, isn't it?
Yes, I couldn't agree more. So I think even in a digital world, it's still about relationships, right? Yeah. So and we should not forget that, right? So we created and we are creating even more innovation, and as I said, we believe at Cloudera, for example, that we're going to make the impossible possible tomorrow. But this should not impact, human relationship and to really, focus on what matters, right? So we help companies, enterprise to be more efficient every day with the use of data, increase customer retention, profitability. We improve regulatory compliance. We reduce fraud and risk exposure. We modernize, analytics, for the better. And yes, when we created, in the era of agricultural revolution, a couple of decades ago, then people believed that they're going to lose their job because most of the jobs were agricultural. But then we've created value and we have challenged ourselves. We got out of our control zone, of our comfort zone. Sorry, we got out of our comfort zone for better innovation. So I truly believe that there is some things after the automation wave, and that's going to be even better.
And just to bring to life everything that we're talking about here, can you tell me a little bit more about the ability automation provides teams to bring their A game more and ultimately increase productivity and growth? Because that is the language that really excites business leaders, isn't it?
Exactly right. So I think I'd like to reiterate this example in the healthcare industry, where actually, while so many steps here are automated, then a doctor will be able to focus more on an image that cause questions, or where some doctors might not be aligned. And this is where, we want the doctors to spend time, right? So, and this is the same for everything. So we don't want you to spend time on connecting the dots, to get a dashboard and look at your analytics. We want you to take decision based on that. So I often say to my team and my customers, hey, this is not about the data and the dashboarding. This is about the decision that you're going to take based on that. And that's what matters. So spend time where you can bring value. So that's the most important.
And I think so much has changed over the last 18 months, and we are approaching 2 years since these changes started to come through. And I think it was even Microsoft said that they've been through 3 years of digital transformation inside 3 months. So it's affecting absolutely every business. And a lot of people are re-exploring different ways of working. Hybrid working is huge right now. So do you think it's also an opportunity for businesses to reimagine their culture to one that uses automation to its fullest value and actually celebrates human capabilities at their best and combine it with technology?
Yes, I think so. I think, we've been forced probably to reinvent a little bit the way we work, for example, nowadays because of the pandemic, right? So, and very often, in order to kind of see the obvious, then we need to be forced. That's a human nature, right? So we don't want to believe until, it's done. But this is the way it works nowadays, and I think thanks God to technology, we have been suffering a little bit from the pandemic, but then we see that it can accelerate, right? So and that's because and thanks to technology, thanks to automation, I wouldn't be able to talk to you today, if we did not have all this technology available for us, right? So and that will make it even more, that will be even more developed in the future.
I completely agree with you. One of the things that excites me is how automation, tech and humans are actually complementing each other now rather than competing against each other. But as we look towards a new year, what excites you about the future?
What excites me about the future? So many things. I think, first of all, we have developed the machines. We have developed this, intelligence, AI, artificial intelligence. At the end of the day, we should not forget the value of the human, right? We still train, machines. We still train algorithm. These automation needs us, right? So, and they will continue to need us. So what matters to me is that how do we leverage this new era in order to do good things, right? So data for good. How do we, accelerate, and cure cancer? How do we, become a better version of ourselves thanks to technology? This is what excites me.
Oh, man, well, I absolutely love chatting with you today. But before I let you go, we began the conversation talking about your origin story. What put you on this path? What got you excited about technology? I'm now going to have a bit of fun with you and ask you, what has been the soundtrack to your career in tech? Is there a particular song or piece of music that has accompanied you throughout or just helps you get your head in the zone? Would you have a song and story that you can share?
Oh, yes. So since I am young, so I am a big fan of Queen and Freddie Mercury. So I would say The Show Must Go On is one of my favorite tracks. So this gives me, it starts slow, it then accelerates, and it gives me a lot of energy, sometimes when I'm in a cab or in the tube. So I love to listen to this music.
I absolutely love that one too. And as you said it, I'm fighting the urge not to just launch into the chorus, but I'm reining myself in. And finally, for anyone listening wanting to find out anything about Cloudera, any of the topics we've explored today, or check out videos and studies, etc., or even contact your team, what's the best starting point?
I would say Cloudera.com first of all, so that's valid. So and reach out to the members of Cloudera and so on LinkedIn, right? Look for people on LinkedIn. We are extremely social oriented, and that's the best way to reach out to us and to know better about ourselves.
There's so much I've loved chatting with you about today, especially that opportunity for businesses to reimagine their culture to one that uses automation to its fullest value, but celebrates human capabilities at their best too. So I wish you the best of luck for the future, and especially in making the impossible possible tomorrow. So best of luck next year. Hopefully we'll stay in touch and get you back on, but thanks for joining me today and sharing your story.
Thanks, Neil. Thanks for having me today too.
So many big talking points, such as why acceleration shouldn't run rampant without control, and how it is essential that alongside automation, we form bold strategies to keep our focus on what is important, human ingenuity. Not to mention the ability that automation provides for teams to bring their A game more and increase productivity and growth. And maybe it is a perfect opportunity for businesses to reimagine their culture to one that uses automation to its fullest value and celebrates human capabilities at their best. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. So a huge thank you to today's guest for coming on here, not only sharing his story, but for also providing that refreshing vision of humans and technology working seamlessly side by side, and as a result, creating so many more opportunities. But as always, this is an open forum. I invite you to share your insights and questions by emailing me at techblogwriter@outlook.com, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn at Neil C. Hughes, and my website is techblogwriter.co.uk. I really enjoyed this one. I learned a thing or two, and that's why I record it every day. It's to try and satisfy my curious mind. And of course, serve you, my loyal audience. So a big thank you for listening as always. And until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thank you for listening to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast with Neil C. Hughes. Remember, technology works best when it brings people together.